everybody, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and I'm here to do another album share with you. We are on to 2014. This is the first album in 2014. However, it does start in February because my 2013, I extended it to the month of January just for fitting into the album's sake. So I have this beautiful color to represent 2014, and let's dig in here. You can see it's waiting for a layout to go here so I can do whatever I want. That one's kind of empty though. And we're gonna kick it off with this layout. Let's make sure we don't have any glare. It's still sunny out today, so it shouldn't be too bad. This one is all about my little guy. We were going to visit my grandma and grandpa, and he's all in there. This was probably, within the first couple weeks, January 31st, so first couple weeks of his life. So he's still nice and little tiny and all new looking. And yeah, lots of fun using some Dear Lizzie. Again, kind of the flatter elements. I did get to layer a little bit here. Tons of journaling. There are some thickers, which is nice. But yeah, I love this. You can see I did a border and I traced with a gray pen. I love to use gray. And then we have this, what goes into Valentine's Day. And so I have just this little insert kind of talking about this special photo. So that's my grandpa. He's no longer with us. But little Jackson there and myself. Again, my smile's kind of there. Just kind of talking about the fact that we named him after my grandpa. His middle name is James. So for that, and then there is Valentine's Day kind of continued. So his little Valentine's Day photo that I took, and just some random photos. I love that. I just needed a little insert to kind of be able to do this. I didn't need a whole layout about it, so I just did an insert. Then his first Valentine's Day, this used to be in his album about, I had an album about his first, but I decided to just combine it in with our family album, so that's why it's kind of multiple there, but I don't really mind that. There is journaling here. If you just pull that out, it just kind of talks about his first Valentine's Day and my little cutie pie there. I love this beautiful wood grain and black and teal. This is probably my favorite color combo. There is nothing on this side. Something can go there when I so choose, but I have a 9x12 here. Just kind of documenting his first weeks home with us. And it just says, Daddy took the first 2 weeks of your life off work after you were born. We spent that time getting to know you and learning how to be a family of 3. As long as one of us were holding you, you were as happy as could be. I think most babies are like that, but he was definitely enjoyed being held, and it's really cute. This photo right here, I really, really love it, because now that we have Barrett, he looks a little bit like Barrett in that photo, so pretty darn cute. And then this one used to be a 12x12, but I trimmed it to a 9x12 so I could make it fit in the album. And this is just talking about our routine. And so with Sean back at work, it's just me and Jackson for 8 straight hours. It's so strange getting used to this new routine. Thankfully, we've had nice weather this week, and I've been able to go for a few mid-morning strolls. I'm loving this new role as mommy and taking in every moment. So I got to be off with Jackson when he was little. So just kind of getting used to all that. I did some mixed media and I really like teal. I really love that. So kind of teal and green and that corally color. I love his little hat. My mom made that little hat for him. So pretty sweet. He's such a cutie pie. And here's one of my all-time favorite layouts. I love this layout so much. Definitely one of my all-time favorites. So this one is just, it's just a cute photo of him. I really liked it. There's not a whole lot to it. It's just kind of, journaling is really basic, just saying, I'm loving life with this little guy. He brings more joy into my life than I ever thought possible. He's already showing signs of his personality, and for the most part is a perfect baby. So it's really a nothing layout. It's not about anything in particular, but I've been playing with it and creating kind of like a baby layout with non-baby themed stuff was kind of basically the idea. There's a few here and there, but for the most part it's all non-baby themed. Really love this layout. I should scrap up this one too. I like that one. Again, nothing on the back. here's one about him sleeping. He got so the journaling says, getting accustomed to your sleeping habits was a challenge. There were days when all I could do was lay in bed and watch TV while you snoozed away beside me. Every time I looked at your precious face, any tiredness I felt melted away. So because he wasn't the best sleeper at night, I was very, very tired. And being my first, I had the luxury of, you know, being able to just lay in bed with him. So, oh, I don't get to do that anymore, but it was fun. I know I did this for a lift and sketch with Rachel, so it's a really fun star design, and then just the photos on top with a diagonal design there. This is a really neat one too, another one I would like to scrap lift again. I should maybe do a series about that. Here's one about the snow we got. So late February snowstorm, and I did this layout for Spiegel Mom Scraps, and I believe it was using a special sketch. But yeah, I layered up these sequins, and the white that you see there, it looks like snowflakes, is actually from a doily. So that was pretty cool. I used washi, which is a big thing for me. And oh, you know what? It wasn't a sketch, it was using this flare. So I used the flare there, and then just layered my photos and just talked about all the snow and how Sean got to stay home, which was good because I always get nervous when he drives in the snow. I also did a little bit of mixed media. It's kind of hard to see because I did it in the sponge sugar. I don't know if it's reading, but it's just a little bit of texture on this layout. So this is a bit of a newer layout because lots of texture. Okay, and so now we go into a birthday to celebrate Sean turning 30, and his birthday is late February. And this is a really great story because this cake almost ended up on the floor. So pretty funny. I love it. So there's some journaling here. It's really, really small, and as I get older, I'm gonna need like a magnifying glass to read it, but it's there. And then I love this banner that I made, and I really need to, again, I need to duplicate this. I need to scrap lift myself. So as I am flipping through this, I'm coming up with a new series. So there's Sean's birthday, and then this is taken the same day, but I turned it into a black and white photo to document that having Jackson here and everything was my dream come true. Obviously not knowing that we would have 2 more to finish it off there, but again, some gold and some wood veneer, and I really, really love this. I had originally made this on a white background, but when they were side by side, I didn't like the way it looked, and so I went ahead and switched it for this blue one instead. I like that way the contrast works really well. I do try, when I have my layouts out, I do try to make them look cohesive within the album, which is why there's sometimes blank pages. Here's one of my little guy. He was dressed up in this really cute little outfit. I loved that outfit. So I just said a little gentleman, and just saying how I was hoping he was going to be able to wear this for Easter, but he grew so fast that he couldn't, but it was fun. There is that famous triangle stamp stencil that I used in my 2013 album a ton. It's brought back. And fun layers. The start of using tissue paper, a little bit more dimension going on. It's starting to be a little bit more my style there. Here are 2 of my favorite layouts from this particular year. This one is documenting a walk I went on, and it's a nice long title that says Build a Life You Don't Need a Vacation From. It does flip open, and I believe there's 2 more photos in there. So a selfie of me, and then a cute little photo of Jackson. I'm gonna keep trying to call him Barrett because that's the baby in the house right now, sorry. This is a scrap lift of the fabulous Mercy Tiara, and I did that for a series I used to do with Caddy Miranda called Obsessed, where we would use one collection and create layouts from. Here is just a fun one I had created. This is one of the pattern papers that had like a pre-cut file to it, so before, you know, when cut files are kind of new, but I added triangles to it to make it kind of my own. backed it. I love this photo of us, the three of us. He is sound asleep, and it's just documenting we went on lunch with my sister when she was here, and just kind of talking about that. It's kind of a nice photo of the three of us. So love it, love it, love it. And I really love the way that the two of them kind of fit together. Again, just space, so when I so choose, a lot of times what it is there's already layouts I've taken out to re-scrap. I just haven't gotten them yet, so once they're done I will slip them in where they belong. Here is one. I drove up to Victoria for my sister. My nephews had a football game, and so we went up to hang out with them, and these two just got to kind of hang out, and it was really fun. She is still really cute, but my little niece is so cute. So some journaling, talking about the day, and then this one turned into this was a 12 by 12 as well, but I trimmed it and turned it into a 9 by 12 again to fit. And this is just documenting just how much I love them. And this, if I remember correctly, like this part was the same, but this used to be up here, and I just kind of moved it a little bit and all of that. And this was the first time that he was in a little swing there. So nice day in spring. Here is his first Easter, my cute little Easter bunny there. He was so chubby. Jackson was the chubbiest baby ever, you guys. Like, he had rolls on top of his rolls. Seriously. But yeah, so this is his first Easter. I really love this layout. This is using open book, I believe. And just the different layers that I created. And even though they're not popped up on anything, like it's all flat, just hot to one another, I love, love, love the layers that it created. So he's starting to use gold. There's that stencil. I love a good triangle. And here is just talking about, we went out to lunch one day, and Jackson did so awesome just playing with his little thing that hung on his car seat. So sweet little photo there. And so I just put lunch companion, even though that looks like a bee, and it drives me crazy, so maybe I should see if I can fix it. There we go. That kind of looks more like an L, right? So lunch companion. We thought maybe his initial would be JJ. It's not. We don't call him that, but we thought about it. So I love it. So cute. I love this. This was fun. Splatters of gold Heidi Shine just in the corners there. I thought that's a really neat effect to kind of bring it in. And then look at all those layers of pattern paper. That's fun. I really don't do that a whole lot anymore, so I do love that effect though. And here's my first Mother's Day. That's always a special one. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos on this layout, so that is pretty darn good. We went to White Rock and just kind of spent the day. We did get to go eat because he was still little enough. He napped while we ate, and it was a lovely, lovely day. I'm not actually sure if this was on Mother's Day, or I believe Sean might have had a day off, and so we went before it got too busy on the weekend. But it was a beautiful day, and I really love documenting this. A lot of Dear Lizzie going on here, a little bit Maggie Holmes. One of those wood veneers, you remember how everyone added those little washroom people? Got one of those on there, so a couple wood veneers and some gold. Grandpa Jax. I really love this layout just because it makes me laugh. So he, as you can see, Jackson had no hair at the top of his head, but he had hair around, and he seriously looked like an old man. And so we would always joke around and call him Grandpa Jax, my sister and I and my nephews and stuff. And so he's still not called that, but it was funny. It's just a funny story, and it's a really, really great way to document what his hair used to look like. So I love it. It's so funny. And I loved these little pajamas. They were my absolute favorite pajamas of his. So Nora got to wear them once, and then I gave them away because we were supposed to be done. So I'm really sad because Barrett doesn't get to wear them, but they were definitely one of my favorites. And this heart pattern paper is one of my all-time favorite pattern papers ever. I really, really love that. And you can see the theme of the teal and the black just something, especially with Jackson, I just used it a ton. It just worked with what I was going for. And here's one where I just had a bunch of photos. I don't know if you're like this, but you end up with like a ton of photos and you're just like, I don't need to scrap these all individually. Like, he's sleeping and he's adorable and yada yada yada. So I just combined them all and just said nothing better. I forgot to add the word then so it just says nothing better sleeping baby. So maybe I should say nothing better ... sleeping baby, but just cute photos of him sleeping. And I like the layout though. I like the way it's designed. A lot of photos, which, you know, I don't do a ton of. I try to get like 2 photos on a layout a lot, but 6 like this isn't something I do very often. So again, I might need to scrap lift that, and this was an old piece of ephemera that I finally got used up, so that made me really happy. And then talking about when he got to go, he was such a big baby, like I said, so he got to transfer into a big car seat a lot quicker than most babies, because this was in May, that he switched over in May, and it is currently July and Barrett is still in the other car seat. So yeah, he's still facing like backwards. That didn't change, but he's just in a bigger one. So kind of talking about that and how his Sean's dad bought that for us, which was lovely. And yeah, so just nice little thing. I love this. I like to take 2 corner pieces, so triangles, and just line them up so they're kind of like a curtain. I love that look. It's definitely one of my favorite looks to do. And then I documented the story, but the photo was taken at a different time, and I just kind of documented it there, just so you can see, because he's a little bit older in that photo. And here is a layout that I don't even like talking about because this made me so nervous. So we went to Victoria to see a game or something. My nephews play a game or something. And I took Jackson out onto the outside of the ferry, like where you can stand and stuff. And I used to like to go to the edge and like look, and I didn't get very far to the edge or anything like that, but close enough where I freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, if my baby falls off the, like, you wouldn't believe how absolutely insanely crazy I went, and nothing was happening, but I got so nervous. And so we quickly snapped a picture, and I'm like, let's get back inside. I was just so nervous. And so there's hidden journaling talking about how silly I was, and how it's just funny how as a mom, the things that you never would used to bother you or anything like that now crush your mind, and it can be the weirdest things that will never happen. Like, we live on 2 stories now, and I walk with Barrett to check on Jackson and Nora in their room, and we have a ledge, and I sometimes think, like, what would happen if, like, something happened and I tripped and I fell and I accidentally dropped the baby over the ledge? Like, just like the worst possible things that could ever happen that will never happen. But it crosses my mind. Am I the only one that thinks like that? Am I just seriously that crazy? Could be. Anyways, that's what this is about. Open book. Maggie Holmes open book. And again, I love this effect. So pattern paper on white on a pattern paper on white with stitching. Love that effect. I need to replicate that. So there you go. That's not my favorite layout. I like the design, don't like the layout. Just the top of it makes me super nervous. Here's a fun one to kind of talk about yourself. Your quirks. So this was just a fun layout I think I created for a challenge. Just 2 random snapshots taken in the summer, and a fun little banner that was a banner, and then I stitched it too so it had that nice effect. And then I put my journaling on vellum here when I had it, and just some funny little things about me, like I have to be 20 minutes early to everything. I'll only buy the toilet paper that has the puppy on it, and then out of that there's one that's purple, and I love that one the most. So, and I think it's Cottonelle. I will only take medicine if I have a migraine. Everything else I just deal with. So I'm not really one to medicate myself when I'm in pain. I think water tastes different depending on which tap of the house it comes from. Yep, quirky. I have to sleep with one foot out of the covers, and I prefer Pepsi over Coke. So fun, just little bits and snapshots about me that I think my kids will really enjoy reading one day. So if you have not done a layout kind of like this, I highly recommend you do it. They're really, really fun to look back on, especially if they change at all. And then here's a cute one of my little guy. This was his first taste of food. We gave him oatmeal right at about 5-ish months, I believe, in June. Yeah. So, 4.5 months. He got to eat early because he was starving because he was such a big baby. So, sweet little boy. I can see my little Barrett in there too. I love being able to compare these two. This is fun to go back for. Monochromatic. Love, love, love. Lots of layers. The doily. I believe this is a scrap lift. Pretty sure it's a scrap lift too. I feel like I've seen this somewhere else. So scrap lift, I do lots and lots of scrap lifting. I'm inspired by so many layouts that why not use that instead of try to think about my own ideas when you can just copy all the beautiful things everyone else does. Just give credit. So here is one. This is one I think I did do on my own. And talking about him sleeping and how hot it was, so he just slept in a diaper. This is before Spiegelmom scrap sequence. I had discovered them, and so just random sequence I had gotten from like Michaels, just kind of splattered across, and a nice big title with some journaling. So very much what my style was like in 2014 in a layout. This is it. So especially when because I actually scrapped this in 2014, so that was very, very me for sure. And here we go on to my haircut. So I went in and chopped my hair off, which I think you see on the next page. And it just kind of talks about how having long hair with a baby is quite challenging, and it was summertime and quite hot, and so I decided to chop a good portion of it off, but I had nice long hair. This is about as long as my hair is right now, and I'm about ready to do the same thing, so it's a trend. And then this I know was a fun scrap lift that I did with these really awesome blocked pattern papers. The one that I think I scrap lifted had, like, they were layered, and I didn't do that, but I used that beautiful C'est La Vie collection, and then I tucked some things in it and did a little banner. So love, love, love this layout. It's just the look of it. I really like that C'est La Vie line. It was one of my favorites. And yeah, so it just basically says, I've always been the type of gal who likes to have long hair. That all changed the moment I became pregnant with Jackson. Now I let it go a little bit past my shoulders before I get it all chopped off in that typical way most moms do. There's just something so easy about taking care of the mommy haircut, and it's how I roll. So I love it when I get my mommy haircut. That's how it is. So I'm missing a layout here. I have a little mark about what it is. But here my hair is cut. I'm not sure how well you can actually see it there, but it's cut now. Ta-da! And this is just a fun photo of Sean and I. We went and saw his oldest brother. He's coaching for a baseball team, so we were watching him coach, cheering, supporting him. And this is, I think, a monochromatic challenge. So lots of teal and I see some Amy Tangerine and some Maggie Holmes, and just lots of really fun things. And yeah, I love this layout. Just kind of basically talked about how we went to the park and had dinner and all of that. So I think Barrett's crying. Hold on one. Okay, let's see if I can finish this before he cries again. It's stuffy in our house, so it's not great sleeping weather. Here's a fun one documenting just a fun summer walk I went on with Jackson, and stitched the hearts. This used to be a 12 by 12 and I trimmed it down, and I actually really love it trimmed down as a 12 by 12. I think it's, or as a 9 by 12. I think it's really cool. Big letters or numbers for 2014. Tiny bit of journaling. Love this layout so much. So there's that one, black and white, and it screams summer even though it's black and white. A little flamingo, and then it just says, Jackson loved our daily summer walks. We would wait until evening when it was cool enough to be outside. I do believe 2014 was a very, very hot summer, so that's probably what that's about. Here is talking about Jackson's love of nap. So he was a great napper. He would go down and nap, but once he was awake, the second he was awake, he was ready to get up. Like, mommy, my nap time's over, let's get going. So it's just what this talks about. Jackson is not the type of baby to just hang out in his crib after a nap. The moment his eyes are open, he is ready to get on with his afternoon. And it's so him. He loved it. So a nice fun little cluster here. I like that cluster. And a mixture of pattern papers. I don't know if you can see this very well, but there is also a nice little collection of washi tape down here at the bottom, which is a neat little design. I think it's a Jen Scow design that I scrap lifted there. And then there's my haircut that I was talking about. So that is what it looked like when I chopped it off. And this one just says the spell of summer, and it says, I love summer. It's not my favorite season as I'm not the biggest fan of heat, but what I do love is the daily sounds of lawnmowers going and all the beautiful colors the flowers put off, and nothing beats a nice cold iced drink on a warm summer night. Pretty much sums it up. I am not a summer person. I hate the heat. I do very well living where I live, where it rains most of the time, but it does have its place, and so I do like to document it. And with kids now, summer is nice because we can do more things. So that just kind of documents that. I really loved this. She falls under the spell of summer, so use that as well, and then use it to work with my title. I'm losing my train of thought. Sorry guys. I also, these are the pink puffy stickers, and I just used some ink to make them teal there. And then here's one. I really love this layout. So I had done some mixed media and I wanted to back it, so I started stitching, and somewhere along the line I messed up. It didn't go together, so by the time it got back here, it's all wrinkled up, which I think is really funny. I actually like the texture it brings, so that's not really a big deal to me, but it is kind of funny. What I have noticed before I get into what this layout's about is I used chipboard, and normally with these pieces, especially on photos, I now take the whole chipboard off, and so it's a flatter piece. Even though it's dimension, it's not quite as much dimension because everything else is lifted up as well. So this is a very thick 2 pieces of chipboard, but just little bits and pieces you learn along the way. This is I love this. So my little guy here, and this is July 30th, so he was 6 months old in these. And we had this little tub that he would sit in, and it was his bathtub, or his swimming pool when he was a baby, and so cute. He loved it. I love these photos. I really love looking at these photos and seeing Barrett, because I don't see a lot of Barrett and Jackson looking alike until now that I'm looking at Jackson as a baby. So I love it. And that's exactly what the journaling is talking about, is how we just put him in this little tub to keep him cool because it was so hot. And then to wrap up July before we go into the next album, which is August to the end of the year, is a neat layout just kind of showing where life was at the moment. Some bottles on my table, on my counter in my kitchen. I just snapped a photo. This was actually for a Project Life that I condensed my Project Life for 2014, and a bunch of stuff came out, but I really loved this, and I actually thought it deserved a layout of its own. And so the journaling says, I knew that once Jackson arrived there would be proof of him everywhere around the house. Just didn't realize how much proof there would be, because anytime you turn around, and it's like that in my house now, everywhere I look I can see proof of my children. Like, I'm in my scrap room and there is a toy on the floor that is my kids, and just these little bits and pieces of them everywhere. And so take a photo like that. It's fun to look back on and remember. So this was also done during one of my Lifton sketches that I do with Rachel. I love this little arrow. Those were one of my favorites. And I added some purple in, which you don't see a whole lot in scrapbooking. You're seeing it more now, but yeah, so there you have it. That is the first half of 2014, and I will be back next Sunday with the second half. I hope you've been enjoying these. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments, and let me know what your favorite layout was today. I'd love to know which one was your favorite. I'll see everybody next week with another album share. Bye.